today's job is birthday cards. So I tend to do them in batches and make everybody in my family and friends who I send them to an individual card, but based on a theme. So I've done this in my sketchbook to have a bit of a practice. So I think I'm going to go for these kind of watercolour and pen birds this year. So this year all of them will be something like this. So that's my practice, and I'm going to start with a card like that. So they are pre-folded, pre-made cards with an envelope. And I have got a big, in this case it's a sable brush, but you could use a synthetic one. I quite like them, I find them pretty good these days. And I have got student grade watercolour. I'm going to start by putting in the circles for the birds. Quite like the green one in my practice, so I'm going to go for a green one. There's quite a lot of water on there. And then I'm going to go for a slightly darker green. So I started with sap green and I'm going for a darker green. I'm using the wet in wet technique. I'm just touching it in, so very lightly touching the paper, and in fact just about touching the paper, but it's slightly wet. And these then dark blue to give a bit more shape to it. And I'm letting the colours merge on their own. Part of this is a bit of a happy accident sort of technique where you're never quite sure what you're getting. I'll do the other one a nice bright yellow. So it's quite a bit of water, so it stays wet long enough for me to put in the extra colours. Bit of orange, just very quickly put in, letting it flow through the paint. And then a bit of red and a dark colour. That's going to take quite a while to dry, so, and it's going to need to be completely dry before I can put any pen on it. I'm going to add a little bit more orange in there. You're going to let that dry. So it is completely dry, and I'm going to start adding some character to my blobs. I've got my sketchbook out in front of me so I can see what I've practiced doing. And this is the fun bit. Well, the other bit's quite fun as well, but this is definitely the fun bit. Just going to add a little bit of colour to the balloon. I'm going to be careful not to smudge the pen because it's water based and it will run into it. Oh, has a bit. And a few bits of gravel at the bottom, I think. That'll need to dry now. I made earlier.